Why, hello, loved ones. Welcome, Mavens, to my channel. I'm actually going to dive into the Bible today. I don't speak any French whatsoever, but I used to speak French when I was younger. I was trying to learn French for fashion, and I got good at French. I was able to speak with a scientist, a French scientist in French. That's how good I was. And then I stopped going to those French networking events. I totally lost it. Went to Paris, didn't really use it. Went to Nice, used it a little bit. Nice is nice, pun intended. Okay, Maven, so welcome to my channel. I'm super excited to go over the Intellectual Refuge with you. I am going to be diving into some scriptures that I have come across. Mavens, remember I told you that in the morning what I normally to do is open up my Bible app before I open up any app. So I have no agenda today. I'm just going to go over some scriptures that I highlighted. Hopefully these scriptures can absolutely help you. Let's go into the Bible, shall we? Right? All right, Mavens. This was really important, especially for entrepreneurs. If you're a business person and you are afraid to ask for your price, you're afraid to ask, like, it's like, have you ever felt like it's so weird to ask people for money for business purposes? Like, it's a legitimate business you have. So there's something that I realized that is actually pretty holy when it comes to like gifting and payment. Transactions are like a natural thing. For instance, there was a time when Israel, for some reason, God was just mad at them for another reason. We could figure out why, but he was mad at them. So he told David, I'm going to give you 3 choices. 1, I will give you guys a disease. 2, you'll be running for your life for about 3 months. And 3, what I could do is just have a famine for 3 years. Which of the 3 judgments do you want? I was thinking, I was like, wow, God is like so merciful, but like so, judgy. Old Testament God, Lord, you know what I'm trying to say. So I was like, wow, God is actually able to choose calamities for people in that way. Interesting. So this scripture, we're going to go into 2 Samuel chapter 24. That's where we're at. And this scripture particularly is like, David's like, okay, fine. Can we just get the disease? And I do want to go over something with you before he decided to pick that. For some reason, David wanted to count all of his people in the nation. Then his commander-in-chief was like, why do you want to do that? Why do you need to do a census? Now, the last time there was a census was, I believe, centuries before or generations before. The census that was made was by Moses, and he did the census of the Israelites, which was about 600,000. So a couple of generations later, the census was around 800,000. So it's kind of interesting. I wonder sometimes if God sometimes inspires us to do things. Another conversation, but I'm like, everyone was questioning David. Why did he feel like he needed to do a census? He did that. So he had to choose like which judgment he should get, because God was being merciful at the time, telling him what his problems were going to be, which is nice. That's interesting. Unfortunately, the people that died in this disease was 70,000. I do want to go into the scripture here. I want to dive in. 70,000 people died. David felt horrible about it because he's king. There was people most likely innocent that died because he probably was doing something really wrong, which we could imagine what could have been. I don't know what happened where he messed up again. David kept messing up a lot. So from what I know, okay, David was like, I feel horrible about these 70,000 people dying. Like, can you stop it, Lord? So when David chose to do the disease, because it was going to be any calamity, there was no way he could avoid it. Sometimes I'm realizing that David mourns or he does things so that he won't get judged. And I've seen this recurring over and over in Samuel and then Psalms and all that stuff. But this time he's like, okay, fine. I'm not going to mourn. I know I messed up. I'll pick a judgment, right? So it says in 2 Samuel 24, it says, so the Lord sent disease on Israel. It began in the morning and it continued until the chosen time to stop. And then it says here, which is really interesting, in 16, the angel raised his arm towards Jerusalem to destroy it also, because apparently there was an angel who could just raise his arm and spread disease. Interesting. But the Lord felt sorry about the terrible things that had happened. Interesting, right? It's like I could kind of see God's heart. God's like, I have to judge these people, but I feel so sorry for them. Because God's just. And then he said to the angel who was destroying the people, okay, that's enough. Put down your arm. That's enough. Put down your arm. Isn't that interesting? Like, I think it's pretty amazing. Like, wow. Like, in the spirit, like, if you see this in the spirit, not in the physical, if you see that this sort of order in the spirit is like, oh my goodness. So he said, that's enough. Put down your arm. And at this time, the angel of the Lord was by the threshing floor of Anua the Jebusite. Okay. Also, David saw the angel that killed the people. So David was really in tune with the spirit for him to see the angel, killing the people somewhere near the threshing floor, which is really far away from probably where he's at in his palace. So I'm assuming that David was he was like a prophet king in a sense. Okay. So he had a relationship with God. He was also like a prophet in a way. He could see things in the spirit. And then he said, Lord, I've sinned. I've done wrong. These people only followed me like sheep. So he is claiming the fact that he was a horrible shepherd. Okay. And he's like, please, they did nothing wrong. Please let your punishment be against me and my family. And then that day, Gad, which is another prophet, came to him. Okay. Said, how about this? Go and build an altar to the Lord, build on the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. So David did what God told him to do. Gad, not God. It's really difficult. G-A-D, Gad we have here. Gad. So David did what Gad told him to do, but he obeyed the Lord's command and went to see Araunah. Now Araunah looked and saw the king and his servants coming to him, so he went out and bowed face down on the ground. He said, why has my master the king come to me? And David answered, to buy the threshing floor from you, because it was this angel who was like, spreading disease everywhere, but he was near you. And also angels are holy, like from God. So we're going to do a sacrifice just to honor God for leaving this angel. And after that, it will just end once we honor and sacrifice God at this location specifically. Araunah said to David, I just paraphrased, but that's what happened. Araunah said to David, my master and king, you may take anything you want as a sacrifice. Here are some oxen for your whole burnt offering. Here are the threshing boards and the yokes for the wood. My king, I give you everything to you. Araunah said to the king, may the Lord your God be pleased to you. Now, this gentleman, he is just giving away what the king needs, because this is like his gift. Like, he's like, I'm giving this to you. He has such a good heart. But one thing about King David, he is so remarkable if you study him, like the kind of person he is outside of his sin. The king answered Araunah, no, I will pay you for the land. I won't offer to the Lord my God burnt offerings which cost me nothing. So think about that. Like, if you ever been in a place where, people are just getting from you, or if you're like, just kind of, you feel as if you have something to sell, there's no value for it. Like, there is value in everything. And I feel like when I read the scripture, this is just my take on it, that like, it's actually honorable. It's just to ask for payment for things. Okay. It's honorable and just to transact. It's honorable and just to exchange money for something. Even though Araunah was going to give him whatever King David asked for, because he's the king, he owns everything, right? If he asks for it, he can take it if he wants. But he gave it out of a gift, and the king is like, no, I want this to be my blessing, so I'm going to pay you for this sacrifice, so God sees the sacrifice I'm also doing for this blessing. Like, this is something that I really want you to see here. So David bought the threshing floor and oxen for 1 1/4 pounds of silver. I don't know how much that is back then. But then he built the altar to the Lord there, and he offered the whole burnt offerings. What's interesting here, I also noticed that Araunah said, here are some oxen for the whole burnt offering. It's almost like he gave several oxen. So there's a lot of oxen for this offering. So then the Lord answered his prayer for the country after David's sacrifice. Remember, this is the time back then where they had to sacrifice animals to God to appease through blood. Blood was a way of atonement. They did eat the meat though, so it wasn't just like killing an animal for no reason. They always ate the right meat, and it wasn't like it wasn't animals that they couldn't eat either that they offered. So it's almost like a barbecue. But yeah, so I just thought this was really interesting to go over. And if you're here with me, I just want you to know that like your worth is your worth, and you could give. If you feel like you're in a place that if you ever like place Maven, like you're always giving, and you're not getting anything in return, just know that that person is not going to get the blessing. Like you can be transactional. God is transactional in a way. Like there's money here for a reason. I don't know why there's money on this planet. Like God could have like created some sort of system where money didn't exist, but apparently there has to be exchanges and things and transactions. I have no idea unless you know. Leave in the comments below. Do you think that like when we go to paradise, there's going to be money still in transactions? Like, let me know. Anyways, so that's my little Bible study. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye. Kisses. And don't forget to subscribe. Maven, if you love this video, make sure that you look at the next video so that you can continue on your journey. Bye-bye. Kisses.